students. This is Dr.R.Sangeetha from SDNB Vaishnav College. We are going to see about business law, the law of contract and its types. Basically, we need to understand about what is contract, then we can get into its types. So, a contract is an agreement which is enforceable by law. Basically, whatever we make as an agreement are agreements, but only when we insert the legality component or enforceability of the law component, it becomes an contract. Here, the definition of the contract is that the contract is an agreement made between two or more parties which the law will enforce. Definition says that we need three items: agreement, enforceability and contract. The contract was formed in such a manner that first a proposal is made, that proposal is accepted, which becomes a promise. Then we create a consideration component to be inserted there, that becomes an agreement, where that agreement is encountered along with the enforceability component, that becomes a contract. All the contracts are agreement, but all agreements are not contracts. This is a basic to understand for us, that any agreement which is made orally or just by implication are not contract, but all the contracts which are made implied or expressed, it is understood that they are agreed. Now we are moving into the types of the contract. Types of contracts are classified into four based on the validity, formation, execution and liability. So validity, so when an agreement is enforceable by law, it is a valid contract. When we say it is a void contract, the voidability component is that the contract ceases to be enforceable by law at the option of only at the option of the law. Next one is the voidable contract. When we say it is voidable at the option of the either of the person of the parties to the contract. Voidable contract. Then it is illegal contract. Illegal contract is the component which is the subject matter which is taken into the consideration, or the consideration which is taken as the component for the contract. If it is illegal, then it becomes illegal contract. And the last in this classification will be unenforceable contract. Some contracts becomes unenforceable just by the happening of some event. Sudden declaration of war or something like that makes the contract an unenforceable one. That is, we cannot perform such a contract. The next kind of classification is according to the formation, how we are forming that particular contract. When we say this is to happen like this in this particular model in written, it becomes an expressed contract. And when it is just by implication of an offer, the offer is given in an implied mode, that contract becomes an implied contract. Then tacit contract, when we have the individual psychological contract, it is called as a tacit contract. That is, for example, the best example given for this is sale by the fall of a hammer at an auction sale. This gives a clarity about tacit contract. The next one is the quasi contract. Quasi contract is created by law and it does not arise by virtue of any agreement, but the law is interfering or recognizing these as contract under special situations. Then it is e-contract. All of us enter into e-contract just because we are purchasing online. That is the best example for e-contract. It is the one which is entered between the parties by using a internet and a server connections. The next kind of contract classification is execution. Execution, when it is completed, we call it as an executed contract. When there is a contract which has been in which both the parties have performed their own actions to be performed, it is called as an executed contract. An executory contract is nothing but where we are expecting one other party to complete his part or her part of the contract to complete, and we have their obligations to be fulfilled in the near future. That is the partially performed contract, we call it as executory contract. The last classification is on the basis of liability. When we say it is a liability, everyone is responsible and accountable for the contract that they have entered into. So when we say it is liability, it is unilateral and bilateral kinds of contract. Where unilateral is, it is one-sided or unilateral, where only one of the party has to perform his obligation and the other party is already fulfilled the contract, has fulfilled the part of execution before even the contract has come into existence. This is called unilateral contract. For a best example can be given as reward for finding a lost dog. The counterpart, the finding is alone going to happen after the advertisement is made, but the loss of the dog is being made priorly even before there could a contract have arisen. And the last one is the bilateral contract, where we have obligations on both the parties' side and it is outstanding at the time of formation itself. Example can be with, okay. So this is similar to executory contract. We are awaiting for a person to complete his own responsibility where the one party to the contract has completed. So thank you, students.